Hello, I've decided that I'm gonna make another video on this channel. I'm gonna keep my old rocket videos up because, they were kind of fun to make, but I think that I'm gonna take this in a whole new direction. So welcome to my first tangent video. I want to start off by saying that I don't know any better than anyone. I'm not gonna say that I do. What I'm gonna be talking about is something that has worked for me, and it's not gonna work for everyone, and that's just the way it is. You're also probably going to hear a lot of cliches, but I have set some rules for myself for how I'm going to do these tangent videos. First off, I'm going to minimize the amount of cuts. There's going to be a few at the beginning, just like, because this isn't the tangent part, but yeah, I'm going to minimize the cuts, so it's really like me coming from my head. No scripts, and I don't have a script, I promise. As well as I will try to address as much as I can, and I will try to be as open-minded, and if I say something that you don't like, please let me know, because that is kind of important. I want to try to make it so like as many people can watch and they can relate to it as possible. But I'm just gonna start it now. So, art and criticism about art. I have always considered myself an artist of sorts, obviously not a professional artist, but I do a lot of art and I enjoy doing art. I do a lot of drawing, I build models. Heck, I count Minecraft builds as art, and I've done a fair bit of those. And, I've taken all of one art class in my life. Actually, I have two going on this year, but I haven't started them yet. They're not till next semester. But before that, I've only taken one art class, and it was an awful experience. My teacher, I'm not going to get into it. He was a good teacher. I didn't do well in it because I had already done a fair bit of art in my life. I guess I had this notion in my head that I already knew better, which was not good of me at all. Not in the least. So that definitely didn't help. But this teacher, he loved the idea of 100% original artwork, which I fully respect. And I think being able to create something from your mind is key. But at the time, I had a few issues with I would try to have it based on something and I would build off that. I did a lot of Pink Floyd stuff. A lot of the art that I would do in that class, because he did give us a lot of free range, I would try to hide or try to make it Pink Floyd, but still have my own twist on it. The Dark Side of the Moon appeared a lot, just because that's such an iconic image. People know what that is. So I did that a lot, more than I should have. And it was a little bit overkill, and I admit that now. I'd had this teacher for 3 other classes before. I used to go to an art school, a pretty small one. I had multiple same teachers multiple times. This was the 3rd year that I had him, because I had him for 2 film classes. I took film classes. I wasn't very good at it. That's actually the original reason that I went to an art school, is for the film program. And it didn't end up being what I thought it was going to be. I don't know what I expected it to be. I guess I kind of thought of it as, oh yeah, we're all going to be working on one film. We're going to have huge cameras. That wasn't it at all. And I should have acknowledged that. I should have realized that that's the way it was going to be from day one, but I didn't. So that was a huge, I ended up kind of getting bored of it. I didn't like it a whole lot. I still did the work. I got the grades, but this teacher, he also did an art class. And I was like, all right, I must try to take an art class. It was an art basics class. It was super simple stuff. And, even if it was extremely basic, despite the fact that I had been doing art for so long, I was still learning a ton. But I had a few fallouts with this teacher. I'd never once flipped out a teacher before, and there's the only time I did, actually. On TikTok, I had a story about that, and it's really not as exciting as I kind of thought it was at the time. Once I started saying it aloud, it's not as cool as it could be. But it was basically, him saying that he was done with me. I was an asshole student. I really was. I've always thought of myself as a decently nice person. I try to be there for people. I try to help as much as I can, but I was an asshole to this teacher, and it was not fair to him. And basically, all he was trying to teach me is originality is what you need. But the way he did his classes, he focused on criticism, which, criticism is always good to have. I've always had different thoughts on criticism. I think I look at art different than a lot of people. I think of anything as you enjoy as being art. If it's something that you can work to get better at, or you always practice getting better at it, it's art. You know, working on Minecraft builds is art. Drawing is obviously art. Dancing is art. Heck, if you're working on trying to get your taking out the trash technique better, I would call that art big time. So I have always seen art as that's specific to you. Whatever you think art is, that is art. And we had always taken criticism. He would have, the way it would work is, you know, we do the work for the class, then we do the criticism or the critiques afterwards. Everyone would critique stuff and we had to listen to that. The reason that was an issue for me is because I don't like taking criticism in the same sense. I've always thought of it as, if you listen to what others say, even if it's good feedback, and this is probably a totally backwards way to look at it, this just works for me. I'm not saying that you should look at it this way. It just worked for me, and I find myself, like, I'm more proud of my art doing it this way. But I've always thought of the concept of just listening to what other people say, telling you how you can improve, as you slowly losing your own style and matching what other people want from your style. So I never responded well to feedback. You know, I've always thought, like, you know, art is one of those things where you can't really judge it because it is specific to the person. You could draw a line, and if you're saying that that is good art, you're the one who made the art, and you yourself are saying it's good art. If it's just a line, then it is good art, because self-confidence is 100%. A lot of people don't see it that way, and I totally understand why. And actually, it's probably not the best way to look at it. I've said that like 30 times. Yeah, I'm gonna get used to these tangent things. Eventually I'll get better at them. But yeah, I've always listened to myself more than others when it comes to art, and that sounds extremely narcissistic, and I acknowledge that. And I do need to work on that a fair bit, but I've also heard a lot of people saying that they don't do art, or like they want to do art, but they don't think they're good at it because other people have told them that they're not. And that is where I really start to have issues with it, because if you're working to make others happy with your art, which is always a good way to go for it, but making yourself happy with your art, being proud of your art, is more important than other people liking your art, I've always thought. So whenever I hear people say, oh yeah, I would, but I'm not good at it, or I tried it, but people say it sucks, or they themselves are saying it sucks and they don't show people their art, I think that's what really tears down the art. Because a great example of art being what one person says is good, the person who made it, and self-confidence being key, is, do you remember the banana that was taped to the wall and sold for something like $10,000 or $100,000? If that's able to be counted as art, then why can't a straight line? If you say that your art is good, even if other people don't think it's good, but you yourself say it's good because you are the artist and you made it for yourself, then that means it is good art. And, you know, that's just, that's the way I look at it. That's the way, you know, I think it's a good way to look at it. Correct me if I'm wrong, please do. But don't let anyone tell you that your art isn't good. Don't let anyone tell you that your style isn't good or this is how you can improve. Like, obviously, if you agree with them 100% and you're like, yeah, that's a good idea, I want to do that, then you do it. But if they say, oh, it might look better if you do this, and you're like, yeah, I guess, then that's not the criticism you want. And criticism, there's two types. There is good and bad. There is no middle ground. Because if someone tells you some bad criticism and then tries to sugarcoat it with, oh yeah, this is good, it's bad criticism because they're telling you something that they don't like about your piece. And it's fine that they don't like it. They aren't going to have the same taste as you. And that is a given. You shouldn't expect that. But you're going to listen to the negative criticism a lot more. And you're going to start to believe it. So when you keep hearing like, oh, I'm not good at this, you're going to start to believe, oh, I'm not good at this. Or if you look at people whose art you really like and you just think to yourself, I'm not going to be as good as them, then that's when you're getting hit by the worst critic of all, and that is yourself. You think that your style isn't good enough for them, then that's not good. That's how you're going to give up early, and the saying, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, I've always found a little bit funny because you technically aren't missing the shots, you just didn't take them. But the meaning behind it, I 100% agree with. You know, you weren't going to get anything out of just being like, all right, it's not worth my time, so I'm going to give up. Because that's just the way it is. And so this is where I start to talk about what I think the best way to become more proud of yourself is. And again, I will repeat this. This does not work for everyone. This worked for me. I'm happy with the stuff I do. And I have very different thoughts from a lot of people. I might be sounding narcissistic, and maybe I am. I've always tried to be as open-minded as possible, but, you know, if you're proud of yourself, there's always going to be that narcissistic bit to it. I think you don't have to think the same way I do. I don't expect anyone to think the same way I do. And I'd be surprised if people think exactly the same way I do. But I think the best way to get better at art, or your art, or what makes you happy with art, is to say screw it, right? Don't listen to what other people tell you. Do what you like. Constantly work at it. And you don't have to be super talented with art. That's the fun part. People call talent like, oh yeah, that looks super realistic, or that's a really cool style. Certain stuff, if you're just, it could start off as 2 lines, and if you constantly look at it and be like, hey, that's something I can change, so you work to try to fix that just a little bit, maybe not fix it, but add on, or take away parts, just be like, oh, I think this might look better, just a little bit better if I do this. You constantly build on the piece, you'll get something great. I did a live stream with some friends on Instagram a few weeks ago where I tried whiteboard art for the first time. And it's the one behind there. Or, yeah, you can't really see it. I'm insanely proud of that. And I know that I'm going to erase it soon. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because I know that's it's whiteboard. It's going to go away. And I get to try something else. And that's what makes it fun. It started off as 2 lines, kind of shaped like the mountains that in the area that I live. And I decided to just add dots, right? All that shading, because you can't get the grayscale on markers. I guess you can, but like that'd be really hard to do. It's just dots. The more spread out the dots is the lighter the area, the closer they are, the darker. That's how I got that shading. I had no experience with whiteboard art before that piece. I worked 4 hours straight on it for 2 days. Just constantly like, oh, you know, it'd look cool. Bad. Oh, this could be shaded more. Bad. If you're constantly working on a piece, you're going to end with something great. You just have to have the patience to do it. Because if you give up really early on, then anything that it could have become has just been thrown out the window. So that's that. I feel like if you want to work on art, but you're scared that it's not going to be very good, and you start to work on it and you're like, wow, this sucks, you crumple it up, throw it away, then that's not how you're going to progress, because you just looked at it and be like, well, this sucks, so I'm going to stop now. If you take something that you think looks bad and continually building on it so you like it more and more as it goes on, it is going to be something that you love. And I think that's what art should be. I think that the biggest critic is yourself. And, you know, if people don't like what you do, screw it. Because if they're going to tell you that your art isn't good, well, it's not their art. So they don't have any place saying that. And I think that's the end of the tangent for now. I'm going to give some more, talk about, I think how this is going to go down. But yeah, and I don't know what my next video topic should be. I have quite a few ideas. But yeah, feel free to comment. Tell me if there's anything that you think is important that I missed on what I said, or maybe I said something incorrect, or maybe there's something I could have said better. Whatever your opinion is on this, let me know. I kind of defeated the purpose of me saying oh yeah, just focus on yourself. But this is one of those things where I want it to be what people like more than anything. So comment, please. Tell me what you think. Tell me, maybe this is a terrible idea. Maybe I should stop. Just let me know. And also, if you're here from TikTok, then I thank you for joining. I think I'm going to be posting on here a lot more. And if you're here from YouTube and you like my content, all 8 subscribers that I have, and then feel free to check out my TikTok. I don't talk about TikTok in my personal life, and it's not a big TikTok or anything. It's just fun. I enjoy doing it. I say a lot of things that I believe in there. I make a lot of jokes that I'm proud of. And I am working to be better at it because I've been on it for 2 years. I would like to get more views. Obviously, like, that sounded like, oh, I want to blow up. It's not fair. Why am I not blowing up? Why do people not know who I am? It's more of, if you're on something like that, you know, you always have that thought in the back of your head. Like, you know, it'd be cool is if people saw this and loved it. And I don't think anyone is on there who's posting videos and is like, oh, I don't want to blow up. I want to stay small. I mean, you could say you don't, but you always know in the back of your head that you kind of do. But thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. More tangents coming soon. Let me know if you want me to do more rocket stuff. I had fun doing those, but I guess I don't know enough about rockets for that. I just took the small things that I do know and talked about that. So, yeah, I will see you in the next video. I want to try to post on here as often as possible. And give me feedback. I know I said don't accept accept feedback. If you want to, don't try to block out as much of the bad stuff as you can, but right now I am asking you to give me all the feedback you can. Tell me what was good, tell me what was bad. And, yeah, I've had this go on way longer than I should have, this closing, so thank you guys. Feel free to like and subscribe. Feel free to check out my TikTok. And you'll have a good day. And wherever your journey with art, even if you don't want to do art and you just had fun watching this, whatever you want to do it. And make sure that you think you're good at it. You don't have to be what other people think's good at it, but make sure you think you're good at it. All right. See y'all later. Take it easy.